Hello, my beloved. This is Oscar Ndatsinze, whom we are listening to, and I thank you for taking your time and listen to this sermon. We are talking about redemption plan. This is part 2, and of course, our title of message is Mystery of Godliness, God in Flesh. Let's read. First Timothy chapter 3 verse 16 says, "And without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. God was manifested in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen by the angels, preached among the Gentiles, believed on in the word, received up in the glory. And without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. God was manifested in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen by the angel, preached among the Gentiles, believed on in the word, received up in the glory." We are talking about mystery of godliness, and this is month of December's theme. Today I will just focus on how the word was defiled to the extent it needed a redeemer. I want to continue this sermon by reading in Revelation 12 verse 12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, O heavens, and you who dwells in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil has come down to you, having great wrath, because he knows that he has a short time." Recall on the previous sermon, we have said that God existed before everything, or if I may say that, before the beginning of anything, and by the God's pressure, he decided to create heavenly host, and the earth with the purpose of magnifying his glory through worship. Unfortunately, one of the heavenly hosts, Archangel Lucifer, rebelled with the third of heavenly hosts against God's by Archangel Michael's intervention. Lucifer was casted out of heaven and then lost his name and turned into Satan. But satanic evil was not stopped, for after being casted out from heaven, he even decided to fall down to the earth, where we read above in Revelation 12 verse 12, where it says, "For the devil has come down to you, he having great wrath." This is recall on the previous sermon. We can say that truly Satan has wrath. We know that in Genesis chapter 1 verse 2 says, "The earth was without form and void." How come if the planet God created with the heaven lost form and became void? It is because Satan has had a great wrath. Even today he has. Let me just prove this to you. I don't want to confuse things, but even the archaeologists proven that story to be true, where they said in 65 million years ago an asteroid fell on the earth in Yucatan Peninsula. For them it is an asteroid, but for us, the Bible reader, we know that it is not an asteroid. We know that it is Satan himself who fall there. I don't want to take much of my time talking about Lucifer or Satan, but I want to focus on the redemption plan. After Lucifer, God decided to make a man in his image out of dust for the purpose of regaining again the praise he once had before Lucifer's rebellion. In Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, it says, "Then God said, let us make a man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, all over the earth, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." Even in Isaiah 43 verse 21 says the purpose of why we live. it says, these people I have formed for myself, they shall declare my praise. Which means the people were created to bring back what God has lost from the Lucifer. Lucifer declared, I can say, he decided to stole the praise that belongs to God. And when Lucifer found himself, he doesn't have his seat in the heaven, God formed a man in his image with the purpose of returning their praise to God. That's why in Isaiah it says, I formed for myself the people so that they declare my praise. That's how and why Adam and Eve was formed, with the system of giving birth to their descendants. We know that Adam and Eve, they were created and we are born. I can say that. In them, God puts ability to give birth. But and even for us, but for them to exist, they were formed or created. You know all the story how this man, Adam and Eve, Satan deceived them, and they fall in the sin, and from that moment, the Redeemer was needed. Because to Adam and Eve, the earth was them. If the reader of the word is in a position of being a sinful person, the word needed a redeemer. Praise the Lord. You can say, does even in the offspring of Adam and Eve, is there not anyone who can reverse the Adam's mistake? Let me try to prove you that there is. God waited and sees no one. We know that in Adam and Eve offspring there came Cain and Abel. Abel decided and became the first man to present his sacrifice, the sacrifice of the bloody sacrifice. And we know what happened to him. Cain, his brother, killed him. We know that the Cain, on his forehead, he had a seal which says, this man is a killer. The last chance to the word was the Adam's thirdborn, who is Seth. Seth was there and does not prove himself to do anything except to give birth to the daughters and sons. Seth, we don't know anything that Seth did. Nothing. So that he can reverse the path of Adam's mistake. From that moment, earth still needs a redeemer. There came a man who tried, who is by name Enoch. Enoch, by 65 age, he decided to work with God. With the 300 years. But in his 300 plus ages, He moves with God. He works with God alone. He is not able to defeat the sin. And God make them out of the earth, and he sit with him on the heaven. And there came another man who can try, and by the name is Noah, the only just man in the world. This man lived in the world where he was only one righteous in the world. But in his righteousness, the world has already turned evil to the extent, fallen angels, demons, fornicate with a woman. And Noah was there. And God said, enough is enough. I will later destroy them by the floods. That's what happened in his time. But even after floods, people continue to do evil. Praise the Lord. I want to say this. This is when Cain's generation was put into the trash. The Cain's generation, the Cain's offspring, was destroyed in Noah's flood. Imagine, in the times of Noah, God destroyed the earth with the floods due to the iniquities of man. Do you think this man was highly righteous than others? This is by grace. I want to prove you that Noah was not worthy to reverse what Adam's did. After the floods, what did happen? Noah planted a vineyard, and he became a drunkard person. Not only drunkard person, when his son does a mistake, he uttered a curse upon his son. Not his son, upon his grandchildren. This man was not worthy to reverse Adam's mistake. That's when God made a redemption plan. Then what next was someone to implement it. Because Noah's has failed, Enoch has failed, Adam's was failed, Abel's failed. My goodness. What was needed? What was needed to be a worthy person to redeem the world? They needed someone who is sinless and without any errors or iniquities. But can we just have a sum up of what really happened? In Revelation chapter 5 verse 1 up to 10 says, "And I saw in the right hand of him who sat on the throne a scroll written inside and on the back, sealed with the 7th seal. Then I saw a strong angels proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the scroll and to loose its seals? And no one in heaven, or in the earth, or under the earth was able to open the scroll or to look at it. So I wept much, because no one was found worthy to open and read the scroll or to look at it. But one of the elders said to me, do not weep. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, has prevailed to open what? To open the scroll and to loose its 7 seals. And I looked, and behold, in the midst of the throne and of the four living creatures, and in the midst of the elders stood a lamb as though it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God, sent out into all the earth. Then he came and took the scroll out of the right hand of him who sat on the throne. Now when he had taken the scroll, the 4 living creatures and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, each having a harp and the golden bowls full of incense, which are the prayer of the saints. And they sang a new song which says, "You are the worthy to take the scroll and to open its seals, for you were slain and have redeemed us to God by your blood out of every tribe and tongue and people and nation, and have made us kings and priests to our God, and we shall reign on the earth." Praise the Lord. For God to redeem the world and heaven, it was not easy. There need a someone to put on the body and be crucified. Not only crucified is enough, and yet he is sinless and without iniquities. Praise the Lord. In the heaven, no one was found. You know that even the angels, God's looks, behold them, and he found many mistakes, many errors, many iniquities. You can read it in Job chapter 4, verse 17, verse 18. It says, if he puts no trust in his servant, if he charges his angels with errors or iniquities. Even the heavens inhabitants, they will not worthy. The earth was terrible. Heavens, I cannot have anything to say about hell, because the hell was another story, because it was the one who brought this mess. That's why God himself was the only one who found without sin, without errors. Imagine to find anyone who is sinless and who is ready to be crucified, who is ready to put on the body from the heaven on the earth, and in their back to Sheol, and you found no one except yourself. That's why God himself did it. God himself redeemed the heaven and the earth himself. That's where he applies the principle of Trinity, where he said, "I will be the Father, will be my Son, and you shall be my Spirit." This is a huge topic to understand, but truly I can just try to give you some keywords. In heaven, there is no one who is worthy. On the earth, no one. There at the hell, no one. Do you know what's left? Was God himself. For God to make them be practical, he needed himself to manifest in 3 dimensions. God, we know that he is one, but from that moment he started to manifest like 3, because there needed someone to command what to be done. There needed someone to implement what needed to be done, and there need someone to maintain the church, whom the Son has already redeemed. That's why in Hebrews chapter 1 verse 5 says, "For to which of the angel did he ever say, 'You are my son, today I have begotten you'? And again, 'I will be to him a father, and he shall be to me a son'?" This is a question mark. In Hebrews chapter 5 verse 5 answered, "So also Christ Christ did not glorify himself to become high priest, but it was he who said to him, "You are my son, today I've begotten you." That's all. God, Jesus, truly he is not a son of God. He was given by the name for the purpose of redeeming the world. Because we read it in Hebrews 5 verse 5, where it says, he did not glorify himself to become the Son of God. God himself said, "You are my son, and today I have begotten you." God is one. To this day, God is one. But from that moment, he started to manifest like three. And again, let me conclude by saying, this is a great mystery of godliness. And without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. God was manifested in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen by the angels, preached among the Gentiles, believed on in the world, received up in the glory. I will continue to talk about this in my next sermon. Allow me to conclude here. Thank you so much. God bless you.